Welcome to Don't Say That, Say This. In this video, I'm going to look at a list of common English mistakes with the help of this popular meme. I'm going to look at mistakes that people often make and what we should be using instead. The first one, I'm a happy people. No, that is not correct. We should be saying I'm a happy person. That's because people is plural and can't be used with a. Happy person, singular. Okay, next, for 1 hour. I hear this quite often, but it should be for 1 hour. If we're just using one thing, don't put an S on the end. That goes with speaking and writing. That's something to be aware of. Next, she don't work. No, it should be she doesn't work. I don't, you don't, he or she doesn't. We or they don't, it doesn't. Use the right verb collocation with the subject. Next, a ring is circle is incorrect. We should say a ring is circular. That's because circular is an adjective and it's describing the noun, the ring. Circle is another noun. She catched the ball. No, she caught the ball. The past simple of catch is caught. This is an irregular verb. There are no reasons for these irregular verbs. You just have to learn them. Next one. He is from French. Should be he is from France. That's because France is the name of the country. French is the nationality. And you can't be from a nationality. Next, my friend is high. Change that to my friend is tall. So when describing a person, we should use tall to describe their height. We can use high for buildings or mountains. We can also use tall for buildings as well. But when it comes to people, tall describes their height. Next one, do we say ok.com or ok.com? So that little dot, it could be called point if it's in maths, like 0.1. We'd call it a full stop in English or period in American English. But when it's a website address, we would say dot, www.something.com. Next, the mistake is he has 37 years old. It should be he is 37 years old, not he has. Some other languages do use have with an age, but English we don't. Next, I very like football should be I really like football, or it could be I like football very much. But don't use very followed by a verb. Not I very like, or I very enjoy, or I very love. We should be using really instead. Next, I feel boring is wrong. I feel bored is correct. These are both adjectives, boring and bored, but the ed adjective describes the feeling. Bored, excited, and so on. ing describes the thing that causes the feeling. It is boring. I feel bored. This is exciting. I feel excited, and so on. Next mistake, I will shopping. It needs to be I will go shopping. Don't use an ing verb after can, will, or to. There is one exception that we will see later. But generally speaking, don't do that. So we could say I will shop, but we're more likely to say I will go shopping. Next one. Sometimes I hear my mother is a cooker. It should be my mother is a cook. A cooker is a machine that is found in the kitchen. If cooking is a job, then you might call them a chef. But don't say that your mother is a cooker. Next we have, it's very convenient. It should be it's very convenient, with a T at the end, not a S. That's because convenient is the adjective. Convenience is a noun. To say something is very convenient. Then we have a lot or a lot. The word a lot should always be two words. So when you are writing, make sure a lot is 2 words, not 1. Then 10 million people should be 10 million people. That's because 10 million is a number. There it is. It's a 10 followed by 6 zeros. And we might say millions of people if we're not using a specific number, but 10 million people would be correct. Then do we say his house? No, we'd say his house. Not his because it's not belonging to he. His means he is or he has. Next mistake, you let me happy. That should be you make me happy. I've heard this a few times and it might well be a translation problem from a native language. Let you do something means you can if you want to, so it doesn't really make sense here. Next mistake, she drives quick. That should be she drives quickly, because quickly is an adverb describing the verb to drive in this case. I have 3 cars. I have 3 cars without an apostrophe is correct. Don't use apostrophe S with plurals unless there are some letters that have been missed out and the apostrophe is indicating that. But generally speaking, plurals should not have an apostrophe in them. I study every day, 1 word, is wrong. It should be I study every day, 2 words. Every day, 1 word, is an adjective, which means normal or usual. And in the phrase I study every day, even if it describes how you study, you would need to use an adverb. So that doesn't make sense. Every day, 2 words, means each day. Made from Japan is wrong. Made in Japan is correct. It might come from Japan, but we'd say made in Japan, not made from. We would use made from if we're talking about the material that it was made out of. Next, grape is sweet. Should be grapes are sweet. This is just a general situation statement. If you were describing 1 grape, you might say a grape is sweet, but really we're describing all grapes. So say grapes are sweet, dogs are cute, and so on. How are you? Make sure you use a question mark if you're asking someone a question. This is important in writing. If you're writing a letter, for example, asking questions to someone, make sure there's a question mark there. Next, I go home yesterday. That would be wrong. I went home yesterday would be correct. Yesterday shows it happened in the past, so we must use the past tense of the verb to go, which is went. I like fish because it is tasty. Now, instead of using a new sentence and a capital B, change that full stop to a comma after fish, lowercase b, and join it together to make a longer sentence. Don't start a 1-clause sentence with because. If we take the first half of it, I like fish, that's okay. That can be a statement on its own. But if you just said, because it is tasty, that's not a whole sentence. So instead, that needs to be joined on in some way to another half. Right, next one. Can we say 2 milks? No. We need to use a measure word. This is an uncountable noun. You could say 2 cups of milk, or 2 glasses of milk, 2 bottles of milk, something in there, but not 2 milks. Next, I like she's scarf. That should be I like her scarf. People often mix up with she's with her or hers. So it is hers, not it is she's. It doesn't mean belonging to she. She's means she is or she has. Next mistake, it is rain now. That should be it is raining now. This is an ongoing process, so we need to use the continuous form of the verb to rain. I buy the book? No, I bought a book. The past simple of buy is bought. This is another irregular verb, and the past tense, be careful with these, and you've just got to memorize them. Next, I've tried to write the word convenient, but the top one is wrong. This is often spelled wrongly. It's a tricky word to spell. C-O-N-V-E-N-I-E-N-T. Convenient. Next mistake. I'm agree with you. I quite often hear this, but it should just be I agree with you. Agree is the verb there. It's not I am agree, just I agree. I do this. Of course you can. The mistake has of course written as one word, but it should always be two words. So the bottom one is correct. I'm going to outside. That is wrong because we don't need the to. I'm going outside is correct. We don't need to add a to here. Next, eating their lunch. Eating their lunch. Right, people often get mixed up between there, and there. Their, T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E, is short for they are, whereas their, T-H-E-I-R, means belonging to them. Their, T-H-E-R-E, describes a place. So eating their lunch, T-H-E-I-R, is correct. Next, I look forward to meet you. I look forward to meeting you is correct. This is the case where you can use an ing verb after to. Look forward to doing something. Then we have married with a doctor. That should be married to a doctor. You get married to someone, you don't get married with someone. Then, I have too many problems. I have too many problems. Make sure you spell that to, T-O-O. Again, this is where to, and to can often get mixed up when it comes to spelling. Speaking is fine because they sound the same, but be careful with the spelling. Then we don't say at Monday, we say on Monday. We might say at midnight, for instance, or at 3 p.m. if you're giving a time. We could use in if it's in a year or in a month, so in January or in 2012, but we would say on Monday. Next, don't say I have a good news, just say I have good news. Even if it's only one item of news, that's because news is uncountable, so it cannot exist in the singular unless you use a measure word. Next, the dog is in its bed. It sounds right, but the spelling there, it's, it apostrophe s, is short for it is or it has. Its, its, equals belonging to it. So if we're talking about the dog's bed, that would be its bed, its, just like his or ours, no apostrophe before the s. Wake up in morning. It should be wake up in the morning. In the morning. We would also have in the afternoon or in the evening, although at night is different. You speak English good. That would be wrong. It should be you speak English well. That's because well is the adverb describing the verb to speak. So it's how you do something, you do it well. You could say your English is good because good there is an adjective, but not you speak English good. Where I can find it, where can I find it? The second one is correct because when you're turning a statement into a sentence, you often need to move the words around. You could say, can you tell me where I can find it? Using the first one, but it would need some more words in there. On its own, it is not correct. Whose hat is this? W-H-O apostrophe S. No, that should be whose hat is this? W-H-O-S-E. Similar to previous ones, whose, W-H-O apostrophe S is short for who is or who has, whereas whose is belonging to whom. She like cats. She likes cats. The second one is correct. It would be I like, you like, but he or she likes. They or we like, and it likes. Again, using the correct verb collocation with the subject. This one is more cheap. We wouldn't say that. We would say this one is cheaper. Also, don't say more cheaper, because cheaper already means more cheap. So then it's like more cheap. So some words we would use more to express a degree. For instance, more interesting. We wouldn't say interesting-er. But generally speaking, if the adjective has one or two syllables, it's most likely to just have an ER on the end. Next, I can't afford it. Sounds right, but when you're writing it, remember the apostrophe, C-A-N apostrophe T. Don't write it as one word, C-A-N-T. That's not correct. He has much friends. Nope, he has many friends. Friends is a countable noun, so we'd use many. Only use much with uncountable nouns. Next, the next mistake is I don't know nothing. It should be I don't know anything, because the first one is a double negative. Don't and nothing, both negatives there. So you can say I do know nothing, or I don't know anything. Well, that was a lot of common mistakes that people often make when they're learning English, English as a second language. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you found some of that useful. Please press the thumbs up if you liked the video. Leave a comment with your opinions, or if there are any more common mistakes that you find that you often make. And subscribe to my channel for more ESL videos and specifically IELTS videos. Good luck with your studies, and I'll see you again next time.